Insulin, blood sugar, glucose. These are terms we often hear when discussing our health, but how many of us are actually familiar with their roles in our well-being? Hi, I'm Rebecca Brayton and welcome to WatchMojo.com, and today we'll be learning more about how insulin protects us on a day-to-day basis.
So insulin is a hormone that's produced by an organ called the pancreas. It's vital in controlling the sugars. In fact, it's necessary to keep the blood sugar controlled in a very tight, narrow range in people. Usually when the sugar rises, like after you eat, the insulin levels go up to metabolize the sugar.
What role does insulin play in terms of how you feel day to day?
If you're a healthy person, you wouldn't notice it. But obviously in disease states, if you get too little of it, you have diabetes. And if you get too much of it, you have something called hypoglycemia, which is a low blood sugar state.
And what are your optimum numbers in terms of blood sugar level for your average person?
Depends if you have diabetes or not, but we're aiming for sugars less than 6 is counted as normal. Between 6 and 7 is pre-diabetes, and over 7 is diabetes.
How is blood sugar managed?
So blood sugar is managed by hormones. So when you eat, your insulin levels rise with food, and that keeps your sugar level very constant. If you don't eat, then another hormone rises called glucagon, which keeps your sugar constant by making your liver make sugar. So it's always a balance between insulin and glucagon levels.
What is a spike or a crash?
A spike would be extreme elevation of blood sugar. You'd see that in a diabetic who didn't take their insulin. Their sugar can go very high. And a crash would be someone who took too much insulin or took their insulin and exercised and didn't eat enough, and that would be called hypoglycemia or low blood sugar.
Should everyone be aware of their blood sugar levels?
A third of people with diabetes still don't know they have it. So we're not getting enough people tested. So if you have a family history, you don't wait till you're 40 to get checked. You get checked as soon as you start seeing a family doctor and get checked. If you have a family history and you have young kids, you keep their weight of the kids healthy. You get them exercising as soon as they're born.
What we're doing is we're going to check your sugars. What it is it's a test to check your sugars over the last 2 to 3 months. So we're going to start with a little finger prick, and the test takes about 5 minutes, and we'll have your result right then. So what I do now is I'm just going to put it in a little cassette that goes into the little computer. It takes about 5 minutes to get the result back. 5.6, so that's normal. Okay? Yay.
Thank you. What are some of the best and worst foods in terms of insulin?
The worst foods, you'd be amazed. I mean, rice. Rice, we absorb rice in a second. You could see a spike that you're asked about in a second with someone who eats rice. 1 hour later, their sugar is very high. Healthy foods are more all the brown rice, the whole wheats, and obviously the meats, the fishes, the fruits and vegetables. But the concept in people with diabetes is not to have too much carbs at one time.
What are some of the most common myths associated with insulin?
Being a diabetologist for almost 20 years, you say that someone needs insulin and they think it's like the worst thing in the world. It's like a death sentence. Whereas insulin is a fantastic way to treat diabetes. In fact, studies have shown using it earlier to treat diabetes is actually beneficial to patients than waiting until their pancreas is burnt out and they're late in their disease. So it's really not a bad word in the system the way it was years ago.
Thank you very much.
Thank you too. Have a good day.